A wake-up call. Europe's new reality. Europe is facing a new and uncertain security landscape. The geopolitical dynamics have shifted dramatically, and the continent must now navigate these turbulent waters with caution and foresight. The old assumptions no longer hold. The belief that peace and stability were guaranteed has been shattered, and the need for a robust and independent defense strategy has never been more apparent. For decades, European nations relied on the United States for their security. This transatlantic alliance provided a sense of security and stability, allowing Europe to focus on economic growth and integration. This is no longer a given. The shifting priorities and internal challenges faced by the United States mean that Europe can no longer assume unwavering support. The war in Ukraine is a stark reminder of Europe's vulnerability. It has brought the reality of conflict to Europe's doorstep, highlighting the urgent need for a reassessment of defense strategies. It has exposed the continent's dependence on others for its defense. The reliance on external powers has left Europe in a precarious position, unable to fully guarantee its own security. This is a wake-up call for Europe to take its security into its own hands. The time has come for European nations to invest in their own defense capabilities and to work together more closely than ever before. The future of Europe hangs in the balance. The decisions made today will determine the continent's ability to protect its citizens and maintain its sovereignty in the years to come. It's time for European nations to step up. They must take collective responsibility for their security and ensure that they are prepared to face any threats that may arise. They need to invest in their own defense and work together to deter aggression. This means increasing defense budgets, modernizing military equipment, and enhancing cooperation among European nations. The time for complacency is over. Europe must rise to the challenge and take proactive steps to secure its future. The path ahead is fraught with challenges, but with determination and unity, Europe can build a safer and more resilient future for all its citizens. Uncle Sam's not coming? The waning American guarantee. For decades, the United States has been the guarantor of European security. The presence of American troops and the unwavering support of the U.S. military have been pivotal in maintaining peace and stability across the continent. From the Cold War era to the present day, the U.S. has played a crucial role in deterring potential threats and ensuring the safety of its European allies. The NATO alliance, with the U.S. at its helm, has been a cornerstone of peace and stability. This transatlantic partnership has been instrumental in fostering cooperation and collective defense among member nations. However, this dynamic is undergoing a significant transformation. The geopolitical landscape is shifting, and with it, the priorities of the United States. The U.S. is increasingly focused on other priorities, particularly the Asia-Pacific region. The rise of China as a global power and the growing tensions in the South China Sea have drawn American attention and resources away from Europe. This pivot to Asia signifies a strategic realignment that has profound implications for European security. This shift in focus is leaving Europe exposed. The reduction of American military presence on the continent creates a vacuum that could be exploited by adversaries. European nations are now faced with the daunting task of bolstering their own defense capabilities to fill this gap. The U.S. may not always be there to bail Europe out. The era of relying heavily on American military might is coming to an end. European countries must now take proactive measures to enhance their own security infrastructure and develop a more self-reliant defense strategy. European nations can no longer take American protection for granted. The changing geopolitical environment necessitates a re-evaluation of defense policies and a commitment to increased defense spending. Collaborative efforts among European countries will be essential to address emerging threats and ensure the safety of the continent. This is not to say that the U.S. is abandoning Europe. The transatlantic bond remains strong, and the U.S. will continue to support its European allies. However, the nature of this support is evolving. Europe must be prepared to take on a more prominent role in its own defense and contribute more significantly to the collective security framework. However, it does mean that Europe needs to be prepared to shoulder a greater share of the burden for its own defense. This new reality calls for a united and resilient Europe, capable of standing on its own while maintaining strong ties with the United States. The future of European security depends on the ability of its nations to adapt to these changes and rise to the challenge of safeguarding their own sovereignty and stability. the bear and the dragon threats from the east. In recent years, the geopolitical landscape has been increasingly shaped by the actions of two formidable powers, Russia and China. These nations, symbolized by the bear and the dragon, have become central figures in the narrative of global security and economic stability. Europe faces a growing number of threats, both near and far. The continent, once a beacon of stability, now finds itself at the crossroads of significant geopolitical tensions. The proximity of these threats has forced European nations to rethink their security strategies and alliances. Russia's invasion of Ukraine has shattered the illusion of peace on the continent. The conflict has not only caused immense human suffering, but has also highlighted the vulnerabilities within Europe's security framework. The images of destroyed buildings and displaced families serve as a grim reminder of the stakes involved. It is a stark reminder of the dangers posed by an aggressive and unpredictable neighbor. European leaders have been forced into tense meetings, deliberating over the best course of action. Military drills near the Russian border have become a common sight, underscoring the urgency of the situation. But Russia is not the only challenge. The geopolitical chessboard is further complicated by the rise of China. As Europe grapples with the immediate threat from the east, it must also consider the long-term implications of China's growing influence. China's rise as a global power also presents challenges for Europe. The nation's military parades and economic summits are not just displays of strength but signals of its ambitions. European ports bustling with Chinese ships are a testament to the deep economic ties that bind the two regions. China's growing economic and military might, coupled with its assertive foreign policy, is a cause for concern. The presence of Chinese warships in international waters and the influx of Chinese goods in European markets highlight the multifaceted nature of this challenge. Diplomatic engagements between Chinese and European leaders are frequent, yet fraught with underlying tensions. Europe needs to be prepared to deal with these challenges head-on. This preparation involves not just military readiness, but also economic resilience and diplomatic agility. The European Union headquarters has become a hub of strategic discussions as leaders seek to forge a cohesive response. It needs to stand up to Russian aggression and manage the complexities of a rising China. Public protests against Russian actions and economic debates about China's role in Europe are becoming increasingly common. NATO exercises are a clear signal of the collective defense posture that Europe is adopting. This will require a united and resolute European response. The waving European Union flag symbolizes the unity and determination needed to navigate these turbulent times. Joint military exercises and council meetings are steps towards a more integrated and robust defense strategy. Only through solidarity and decisive action can Europe hope to secure its future in the face of these formidable threats. Penny wise, pound foolish, the price of neglecting defense. For too long, many European nations have underinvested in their own defense. They have relied on the US security umbrella, neglecting their own militaries in the process. This has left Europe ill-prepared to face the security challenges of the 21st century. Decades of underinvestment have resulted in outdated equipment, dwindling stockpiles, and a shortage of trained personnel. This is a dangerous gamble. Security is not free, and neglecting it comes at a high price. Investing in defense is not about militarization. It's about ensuring that Europe has the means to defend its interests and values. It's about deterring aggression and preserving peace. Section 5. Stronger Together. NATO and the EU as pillars of security. In the face of these challenges, European unity is more important than ever. NATO remains the bedrock of European security. It provides a collective defense guarantee and serves as a forum for transatlantic cooperation. The European Union also has a vital role to play. While not a military alliance, the EU can contribute to European security through its Common Security and Defense Policy, or CSDP. This includes crisis management, peacekeeping, and capability development. NATO and the EU are stronger together. Close cooperation between the two organizations is essential for a comprehensive and effective European security architecture. Section 6. Preparing for the unthinkable. Deterrence through strength. The best way to prevent conflict is to be prepared for it. A credible deterrent is essential to discourage potential adversaries from even considering an attack. This means having the military capabilities and the political will to use them if necessary. Deterrence is not about aggression, it's about sending a clear message. An attack on one is an attack on all. It's about making the costs of aggression far outweigh any potential benefits. A strong and united Europe, capable of defending itself, is the best guarantee of peace and stability on the continent. Section 7. Investing in peace. Modernizing for the future. Modernizing European militaries is not just about buying more tanks and planes, it's about investing in the right capabilities for the 21st century. This includes cyber defense, artificial intelligence, and space-based assets. It also means improving interoperability between European militaries. They need to be able to work together seamlessly, sharing information and resources. This will make European defense more effective and efficient. Investing in defense is an investment in peace. It's about ensuring that Europe has the tools it needs to deter aggression and defend its interests in an increasingly complex and dangerous world. Section 8. A new chapter, towards a more self-reliant Europe. The era of European dependence on U.S. security is coming to an end. This is not a cause for panic, but a call to action. It's an opportunity for Europe to take greater responsibility for its own destiny. A more self-reliant Europe is not about turning away from its allies. It's about becoming a stronger and more capable partner. It's about sharing the burden of responsibility for global security. This is a defining moment for Europe. It's time for European nations to come together and forge a new path towards a more secure and prosperous future. Section 9. The stakes are high, securing Europe's future. The stakes could not be higher. The security of Europe, and indeed the world, hangs in the balance. A weak and divided Europe is vulnerable to aggression and instability. A strong and united Europe is a force for peace and progress. The choices Europe makes today will shape its future for generations to come. The time for complacency is over. The time for action is now. Europe must rise to the challenge and secure its own future. The world is watching,